Hey guys, my name is Steven with the Gold Group Real Estate, and welcome to another episode of Gold to Sold. In today's episode, we have a closing with Nick and Maddie, and you'll be very surprised of where I met them. That is a question for them though. Let's talk about a little bit of their background. So my clients, Nick and Maddie, hit me up on Instagram last year saying that they wanted to buy a home. So when I met Nick and Maddie, they weren't at the pre-approval amount that they were looking for. They really wanted a home with a big garage and also a parking space for their trucks. So I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and work up that purchase price so that we can get the home that you want. And then that's when I hit up Letty and told her about our situation. And then she definitely helped us trying to figure out what purchase price that we needed to get into the home that they wanted. A few months later, we got into a higher purchase price, but it still wasn't enough. But I'm always out here trying to find new programs coming out so that we can help clients get into the home that they want. And then, boom, California Dream for All program dropped. And then I thought that this was the perfect program for Nick and Maddie to get started. And then after we got the pre-approval by Letty, it was time for our house hunt. After a day of looking at homes, we went to go see the homes that they were looking for. And then on this particular home, there was multiple offers and we still got the home. Let's go. All right, so where are Nick and Maddie now? They are at the closing table, signing their documents, getting ready to get the keys to their home. Yeah, so they're signing their documents right now. Once they're done signing their documents, they're gonna have a couple things to say about working with me and things like that. So I'm gonna pass the mic on to Nick and Maddie.
So I met Steven through a video game called League of Legends. I think I was either still in college before I really started my career. We met on a video game and he had a 916 in his gamer tag or username. And I asked if he was from the Sacramento area, and he said, yeah. And he's like, hey, if you ever want to play games later and down the road, hit me up. And so I added him, and then he said, hey, if you ever want to talk to a realtor or whatever later down the road, add my Instagram. So I did, and it sat around for a few years until I met my girlfriend, and then we started getting really serious and thinking about buying a home. And so I was talking to her. I was like, hey, babe, check this guy out. He's selling a lot of homes to a bunch of young guys or young couples. And I'm like, maybe we should go and talk with him. So I hit him up one afternoon and I was like, hey, do you remember me? And he was like, yeah, dude, I remember you. And he was like, do you want to go through this whole presentation seminar thing that I have? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I worked in Elk Grove office one afternoon and I came over and he did this whole presentation and I was like, okay, so I actually have a grip or a little bit of an understanding as to what it takes to buy a home. So then we started with the process. We started looking at homes and then he introduced me to the team and we got started with the process.
He started alone first and he got approved all by his lonesome. And I was really scared because I have student loans. So I was like, you don't want me on your loan. And then eventually he slowly convinced me. He's like, no, I think Steven can figure it out. And Steven also took the time to say yeah, we can figure this out. So I took a leap of faith, really, and I trusted that they could figure something out, and they did. We got really, really lucky that they could actually take some of my income, even with a bunch of student loans. So it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I had gotten in an accident a few months before, so I even had to have a car payment. So I was like, there's no way, and there's no chance at all of me getting into anything at all. And it ended up working out. They were able to figure out something for us.
Yeah. Communication was always 100% all the way through, even when both her and I got extremely anxious at some points, and we're texting him even at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. I'm like, hey, this is a home. Or once we finally got into the home buying process, I was like, hey, man, I'm like, where are we at with this? And he would get back to me usually within an hour. So he was literally available 24/7, like he says.
Even when we were dreaming too big. Even when we were sending him houses we probably should not have been sending him. Steven would actually respond and listen to us. And that was the biggest thing that was different than other realtors, because I thought that I was going to be able to try and figure something out a long time ago, and I talked to other people and they kind of give up on you after a few days if you don't really have anything behind it. But Steven like stuck with us and like did not make us feel any sort of different about our loan and not being like, you know, not having some huge loan behind us. And he really took it seriously that we genuinely wanted to get into a home, and really took it all super seriously. And Steven was really the one that like made it happen, because if I didn't have someone like Steven behind us, I don't know. I don't think this would have happened the same way. I don't think we'd be signing today.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then he hit us up also when the Dream Act came out.
Yes.
And he was like, hey, you guys, like, think this is the loan for you guys. You guys really need to come in, sit down on the seminar that we're going to host. He's like, learn a little bit more about it. He's like, let's explain it. But he's like, you know, we only know so much right now, but come down, sit down, take a class on it. It's not going to be too long. We'll feed you, all that good stuff. So it was nice. We learned a lot about it, and we decided that that was the decision that we wanted to do. We were like ready to put in an offer on a home, and then the Dream Act came live and we were able to put in something.
Yeah, so Steven definitely keeps his ear to the ground, I should say, and he definitely looks out for you, and he doesn't let things like pass by. So we greatly appreciate how much time he took to learn about the Dream Act, because of course we immediately had questions too, and his team was on it immediately. They knew what we would be curious about as buyers, and they addressed any sort of questions that we'd have about it. We would 100% refer Steven to a friend or family member. I, in fact, have already referred Steven to a friend. As soon as they heard that we got into a house, they immediately reached out to my mom, who asked for a bunch of their business cards. So I was able to immediately have friends and family members ask about Steven, and I couldn't recommend him more.
All right, guys, so you heard it all. We met through League of Legends. Nick hit me up on Instagram, said that he was interested on buying a home and wanted to just know the process of what it takes to get into home ownership. And what's funny was that he wanted to work with me because I got young couples into homes, which is kind of funny. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in to an episode of Gold to Sold. Bow. But wait, if you want to get started on your journey of buying a home, hit me up and I will show you how you can be gold to sold.